guys, just doing two videos for you today. I got invited by Westy 1968 to do a video at his place. Lucky for me, he's just around the corner from me, so I'm pretty stoked to be doing two videos in this awesome kitchen today. The first dish I'll do for you, I'll do a rosemary, pine nut and polenta cake. Now I've had a few feedback from a couple of YouTubers saying, you know, why don't you do any cakes, you never do any baking. So I thought, yeah, I'll show you a recipe I discovered a couple of weeks ago. It uses a few ingredients that you wouldn't associate with a sweet dessert, but I think it's fantastic. I've got figs, I've got pine nuts, I've got rosemary, olive oil and polenta. So we'll be doing that one together today, and then as soon as I've done this one I'll do a wrap of lamb, so that'll obviously be on my next video. So I hope you enjoy this one. Thanks. So I've got all my ingredients measured out and pre-portioned and ready to go. So I'll just go through them with you quickly. Now the recipe for this I will put in the bar below, so just cut and paste it into a Word document. But I'll just explain all the recipes to you as we go into it. So first of all, I've got over here 500 ml of water, so half a litre of water. Next up I've got 140 grams of polenta, and that's just a yellow polenta. A white polenta is fine as well. If you can't get polenta where you are, cornmeal will probably do the job. I've got a pinch of salt. Now I've mixed my pinch of salt in with my flour. For the flour I've got 115 grams. Now if you wanted to make this dish gluten-free, just use a rice flour or a self-raising gluten-free flour. So this is just regular self-raising flour with that pinch of salt in it. Next up I've got caster sugar, 125 grams of caster sugar. Now the figs, I got 180 grams of figs. Now I've just kept these to a side and I'll be using them for garnish on the top later. I'll show that to you later. But in there I've got about 170 grams of figs, which I bought like that from the greengrocer, and I've just diced them up. I've got 100 grams of untoasted pine nuts, and I've got just one regular egg, and I've got a teaspoon of finely chopped fresh rosemary, and 100 ml of extra virgin olive oil. So those are my ingredients, and I'll show you how I do it now. Okay, so my water's come to the boil. Before I start this, I'll just point out to you that I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees Celsius, and I've got that going, so that's ready for me as soon as the cake's done. So now to this water, I add the polenta, and you just mix it in so that it's all absorbed. It'll cook fairly quickly. While it's at that stage, I add the olive oil, and you keep cooking it out. Now basically you keep cooking this out until the polenta thickens and it starts to pull away from the side, and that's your indication that it's cooked. Okay, as you can see now it's pulling away from the side, and now I add the remainder of my ingredients. So I'll start first with the sugar. Then the flour, 115 grams of flour. And just a reminder, that's the only gluten that goes in the dish, so if you wanted to make it gluten-free, just obviously use a gluten-free flour like a rice flour or even a potato flour. Right, so I'll turn the heat off now. I'll add the pine nuts, rosemary, and the figs. Now to that I'll add that 1 egg, which I have lightly beaten. Now over here I've got my baking tray. With this one I'm just using the one with the bottom that comes out. I've greased that, and I just take that mixture and we put it right in there, and then just basically press it into that baking tray. So I've pressed that all in there now, and for added effect, I'm just going to run a fork along the outside. Right, that's ready to go into the oven now. So that's 200 degrees, and we'll put that in for 45 minutes. It may need a bit longer, but 45 should do it. Right, so the cake's been out of the oven for about a good 10 minutes now. So on top of this, I'll put that icing sugar. And then we'll finish it with finely sliced figs and rosemary. I don't know if you remember in the beginning I put those 2 figs to the side. Well, I finely sliced them and we'll use them as garnish. Now I suppose you could use pine nuts on top of this as well, but there's already so many pine nuts in here. I'll just go with that. So I'll trim that end off a little bit. Take that off, and I'll just cut up a good portion size there. I've got a spoon that I've warmed up in hot water. So I'll do a quenelle of mascarpone, and that's us. So that's a pine nut, fig, rosemary shortcake with mascarpone, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So like I said before, the recipe for this one, because you need to be quite precise with your measurements, the recipe with this one will be in the bar below, so just copy and paste it onto a Word document, but please do give it a go and let me know what you think. Thanks.